As the lacrosse season moves into April, for teams who want to get commemorative items or gifts for the end of the season for all of their players, for seniors, for their coaches, now is the time to start thinking about it and potentially ordering them so that you have them in May when the end of the season happens. Let's get right into it. So the first one we're going to talk about is balls. For the first one, you already have them. It's just a ball that's signed by all the players. I've received 3 or 4 of these over my coaching career. And the one piece of advice I have is if you're going to do that, make sure someone puts the name of the team and the year on the ball. So it's not just a bunch of kids' names and numbers on the ball. Because then you don't know which team it was. And if you coach tons of teams like I have, you kind of forget which one was from which team. And that's kind of just how it goes. The next ball that we have is a real lacrosse ball by Lax Balls, which is Lax Balls with a Z. Now, hopefully this will focus in on the ball, but you can see my POWLAX logo here. You can essentially get your team, the year, the logo. I'm not sure if they do individual names for players. They might, but so these customized balls with the color go for about $15 a piece. If you just want the engraving, you can do them for, I think, $7 to $9 a piece. Kind of depends on the amount that you order, but they're definitely a cool commemorative item. They're just regular lacrosse balls, so that you could use them, and maybe you could do it for a tournament or something else like that. But so definitely a really cool company. They also do tumblers and other kinds of awards and things, but the one that I notice and like is this one because it has my logo on it. And so that's Lax Balls with a Z, laxballs.com. The next ball that we have is a Swax ball, which is essentially like an indoor lacrosse ball. It's basically a glorified hacky sack that's the same weight and size as a lacrosse ball. Now, as they're used, they can get a bit flimsy, but this is something that I know a kid is going to pick up and play with years down the road if he still has it and doesn't lose it. But so if it has, the logo of the team or the year or something cool about the season, it's definitely something I think that, kids would actually enjoy and use. And so the cost for these custom balls is $9 a piece, and you've got to do a $40 setup fee for whatever your logo is, and then you got to get 36 at a minimum. So maybe if you have 36 players, that's perfect. If you have 2 teams of 18, that'd be good, and maybe you give them 2 apiece. I don't know, but definitely a cool thing. I actually have kind of had a mixed bag on these. I think they've gotten better over the years, and I got one when I did a presentation at the Massachusetts Youth Lacrosse Convention, and this one's really cool. It's got a eagle. It's like a USA ball, so it's got an eagle with lacrosse sticks. It's got USA Lacrosse on it. Now, I'm not sure if you can get this in depth with like 3 separate patterns on it or how much that would cost, but seems like a pretty good gift. The next set of items that I think is really cool to give as a end of year lacrosse gift is a stick. And so I've got a couple different variants to show you. The first one is called Sergeant Sticks. This is one that I got from Grandview. And you can see, hopefully, that it's got Coach Chapla, Grandview Lacrosse, and it's just a shaft. It's $50 for the shaft and the engraving. So it's not a bad price for it. Now, definitely a cool thing for a coach who would use a shaft with the team name on it. And I'm pretty sure that this same year, the seniors got this as well, which was pretty cool. Now, another shaft that I really love, this is a Phantom lacrosse shaft. This is probably one of the coolest. You can see it says POWLAX on it. It says Phantom on it. And now Isaac, who runs Phantom, was engraving all of these personally. But so definitely another cool shaft that you have the possibility of getting and potentially customizing. Definitely wanted to give Isaac a shout because I love what he does for lacrosse in Southern California. And it's another cool potential item for gifts. Now, the next part of a lacrosse stick for a gift is a lacrosse head. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, there's no way we're buying heads for all these players, but I'm going to introduce you to the RC1 lacrosse stick. Now, this is developed by a company called Relax Collections. Now, they're a nonprofit who sends a bunch of gear to Jamaica and Africa, and the guy who owns it or runs it, Will, He has always wanted to have a lacrosse head that didn't have any of the marketing budget and the essentially business elements of it, so he could make it really cheap. And so this head is $25. It's actually a really well designed, well built head. And it's just because they have no marketing budget. So I had to throw it in here because it'd be a really cool gift. And what I'm going to show you next is how I would use it. So just a head, kind of cool. But if you got a head and found one of the stringers and dyers on my stringers and dyers page, you could do a custom die. Wouldn't have to be very complicated. It could just be, maybe a name and then a fade of the colors of your team. And if the head costs $25, maybe a set of 20 with a die on it. I think the die, I'm not sure what dyer's prices are right now, but I'm pretty sure it would be around 15 to $20 if it was pretty simple. And then if you got a kid on this team that can string or a dad, you could get a strong head that's custom to your team for around $60 to $70 because you got the RC1 from Relax Collections. Definitely a cool option and something that I don't think many people know that is a possibility, because most people think of a good lacrosse head that they can actually use and they think of $120 for a head plus stringing, and it gets a little out of control at that point. Now, the next few are going to be more for the coaches than they are the players. These are just a few things that I've received over the years. Now, the first one is a signed picture of the team with signatures kind of around the border or even on the picture. And definitely has been a cool thing that I've received from a couple teams. And I don't forget which team it is, which is nice because there's a picture right there. Now, the next two are going to be very nice because for coaches, sometimes you don't have a budget. Maybe you want to throw them a little extra reimbursement mileage, if you know what I'm talking about. And these have been really cool. So one year at Cherokee Trail, I received a pair of the gloves that they had purchased that year for the players. Players had option to buy them. They bought a couple extras because you never know when a kid's going to want to play in February, but you got to order them in October. But so this is a pair of gloves, but it's got signatures from all of the players. And so definitely a cool one. I've never really worn them in a game. I kind of think they're a really cool commemorative item. I know I still have my high school gloves, and so having a set of gloves from a team that I coached is pretty sweet. And they're definitely more of something that, you may hang on a wall one day. Not sure, but definitely a cool item where if you have an extra set of gloves that you bought and you know you're going to buy more gloves next year, you either keep them for the next set of players, or if you know you can have them to spare, having them as a gift for coaches can be a cool idea. With that comes the next item, which is an old helmet, right? Like, so often teams have helmets that are older, but I think a really cool one would be if a coach has coached for a while, having them, giving them a helmet that's signed by a bunch of the players would be a really cool thing for them to have. I've got a few of my, helmets as I went through my playing career still, and I think that having a commemorative helmet that could hang somewhere or would be a cool kind of showpiece with signatures from the players, even if it's been used, would be a cool item to have. So if you have them lying around, that could be a potentially cool thing for a coach. The final one that we have is one that is by far my favorite. It's the one that I actually use a ton, and it is a tumbler. And it's customized. It's got the Cherokee Trail Lacrosse logo on it. It's got the Coach Chapla on the back. Now, from Yeti, which is definitely the company that I would use if I was doing this, is I want to say like $64 for the Yeti. And the reason why is because I use it all the time, right? Like I have, I think, 3 or 4 Yetis that I kind of transition that I, get hydrated with during the day. And having one that commemorates a team that I once coached is a really cool thing. And so that's definitely one of the ones that has stuck with me. It's useful. It's not just a trophy or something that just sits there, and, kind of cool. Now, if you've got a team that is going to be together next year, when we think about useful things for this team, we've created something that will allow the players to compete with each other in terms of how they are developing for the next season, called the POWLAX Online Skills Academy. Now, this is essentially private lessons in your pocket. And It takes the drills that I do within my private lessons, puts it into an easy online platform where players will watch a 20 to 30-second video. They'll do the drill, and as they go through them, they earn points. And there's a leaderboard. So let's say you wanted to have a wall ball competition in September. You would say, hey, go in, do your wall ball workouts, and as they do them, it tracks it. And so they can log in, they can see the badges, the ranks, and the points that the other players on the team have earned. So you can make a bit of a competition out of it. Players can also see their progress in real time of what work they've put in and then how that's transferred to the field. We've had amazing success this spring, and I'm really excited to see how much improvement a player can have having the system all the way through the off season. And so if you like the idea of it, check it out at POWLAX.com/academy or shoot me an email at info@POWLAX.com and could be a good option. If you're ready to make lacrosse as simple as possible, whether you're a player, coach, or parent, head to POWLAX.com where we make lacrosse as simple as possible. We have assessments for coaches, players, parents, which will kind of outline your situation and tell you what you can do to improve. We've got hundreds of free videos on YouTube, a book called The Player and Parent's Guide to Lacrosse, and click that follow button, and we'll see you in the next video.